All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Purpose Driven Investor Podcast. Today, I'm excited about this conversation because we've got somebody on the show who's doing real deals in real markets, not just talking theory online. I've got Travis here with us today. Travis is a real estate investor, acquisition specialist, and the founder of TG Home Buyers out of West Virginia. He's also built a community called Small Market REI, where he's helping investors to succeed in smaller, overlooked markets that people often ignore. What I really like about Travis is his focus on relationships, transparency, and actually helping people solve problems, not just chasing transactions. I think a lot of listeners are going to really like what you hear and be able to relate to that. So today we're going to talk about small market investing, generating deal flow, sales and negotiation, building confidence with sellers, and what it really takes to build a business outside of the flashy big cities that everybody talks about online. So Travis, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on.
Hey man, thank you for having me. I'm having a good morning, and even better now that I'm on here with you. I love talking with you. I'm talking real estate. So yeah, man, thank you.
Great. All right, well, hey, there's a lot of people here that probably don't know who Travis is. So why don't we start there and tell us the story. Who is Travis? How'd you get started? And then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, man, thank you. And that's a great question because, I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular small town guy that grew up in, mobile homes. And, I'm not going to say I experienced poverty, but I'm not going to say I was homeless or anything like that most of my life, right? But I've definitely lived in poor conditions, and I didn't come from a lot. So real estate was a whole nother world for me, Robert, when I first started. I had no idea what I was doing. It was all new. It was a total different pivot from delivering pizzas. So yeah, that's a little bit about who I am. I'm in my 30s. I'm still hustling. I'm not online just teaching about this stuff. Like, I don't even have a big company. Like, I'm still on the phones every day, guys. Okay, I just want to let you guys know that I'm still negotiating, talking, doing deals myself. So yeah, it's a pleasure, man. Does that give you a good overview?
Yeah. That's great. So where'd you grow up?
Okay, cool. So a little town. I've kind of been everywhere. So I'm in West Virginia, born and raised, and I've lived in different places in West Virginia, but Sissonville, West Virginia was kind of home to me for a really long time. And that's about 15, 20 minutes outside of Charleston, which is the capital. And just to give you guys a zoom out view, Charleston's only like 40,000 people on its own. So Sissonville, when I was living there, was a few thousand. I think it's growing a little bit now because, now since COVID, the popular thing is let's move out in the country. Let's get away from the city. So, yeah, that's where I'm from.
All right, that's cool. What were you doing before real estate?
A lot of stuff. So, delivering pizzas. My first real job was at a Dollar Tree. It was a seasonal job, and I was up for Christmas. So I was working from 11 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning, night shift during Christmas, listening to Christmas music all night. Uh,
Wow.
after that few months, they decided Travis wasn't good enough to stock shelf, so they got rid of me. Um, but I've done a lot of other stuff. Like I'm considered, I guess, a hustler, quote unquote. Like I've sold CDs. Like I used to have a CD duplicator, and I used to burn like 100 CDs within like a few minutes. And I'd go out to like ball games, and I'd sell these CDs. And I used to shoot music videos. So I've done a lot of different stuff as an entrepreneur, but most of it failed. All of it failed, really.
Classic entrepreneur story, right?
Yeah.
Keep going, keep failing, keep going, keep failing, and then you click on something that works, right? So
Right.
seems real estate's working. What got you into real estate? Kind of what was the turn where you said, "Hey, I don't want to burn CDs anymore. I don't want to make music videos. And maybe you're still making music videos, but you want to get into real estate. So what made that turn?"
Good man. I love these questions because you get me reflecting, and it takes me back because it's been 10 years now. So I remember I had a really good friend. He's passed away, unfortunately, but very good friend of mine named Chris Moore. And me and Chris was tight, man. Like he actually was an artist. Like he made music, and I kind of helped him out a lot. And one day he was like, man, like this music stuff's cool, but we need to do more. And he was looking into apartment complexes. He was way more advanced than I was. He's like, me and my mom and a partner, we're going to buy this apartment complex near the school, because he lived near college. And it started opening up my mind. I was like, what do you mean, apartment complex? He's like, yeah, we're going to make this much money every month. And he's like, but you got to learn about this stuff because it's a formula. He kept telling me there's a formula to this, and you can lose everything, and you got to be smart. And he was like, I got a book for you. Of course, you've probably heard about this book a bunch, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Let me borrow it. That was it, man. It changed my world. It made me just think totally different. I started researching. I started looking up different things. I think I bought every Robert Kiyosaki book. I had all the audio CDs. I was riding through these rich neighborhoods, listening to this stuff, thinking this is where I want to be. This is who, and then I had like a kind of a moment where I kind of got lost, because I started to learn about risks and flipping houses and broken toilets. And I was like, oh man, like, I don't have any experience in that. I don't know how to manage contractors, and I'm not a handyman. I don't know how to do that stuff myself. So I kind of got unmotivated, man. I was like, I don't know if this is what I should do. And then I kept researching, and I found a YouTube video, and it was a podcast setup. It was two people talking, and the guy was like, yeah, I do real estate, and I don't ever buy a house. I don't ever fix anything. And that was wholesaling. That's how I found out what wholesaling was, through a podcast. And then I was like, man, that's exactly what I need to do. This is up my alley. So I contacted the guy who was in the video, found out he had a course for $500. Didn't have $500, but I took a credit card. I paid for it anyway. And he taught me the basics. I'm not saying that everything he taught me was totally up to par and ethical. I'm not sure, but it taught me the principles. And from there, man, I just kind of took off. I started taking action, massive imperfect action, started doing phone calls and picking up the call and saying, hey, and then they'd say, hey, and then I'd hang up like I was nervous. But I started doing it,
That's great. That's great. It's amazing how that just, I mean, obviously there's a lot of moments leading up to that YouTube video, right? But how that one YouTube video could then lead to, all right, this is the moment that then is really going to push you forward, right?
Oh, definitely. One video, like, that YouTube doesn't really give you a lot of like action steps and a lot of guidance, but it can plant that seed.
Yeah. That's great. And when would you say things finally started to click for you? After you watched this, you kind of got started. When did things really start to flow and really click for you?
Good question. Probably about a year after actually taking action. I was going out to houses and really didn't know what to do. I was just looking at houses and meeting people. No negotiations really, not really a lot of offers, just trying to figure it out and learn how to maneuver in this industry. So yeah, it took me some time. I wasn't one of these, hey, I just learned about this and 30 days later I got my first $100,000 check. Nope, that wasn't me.
Took a bit, yeah. All right, so let's talk about small market investing, because that's really your focus, right?
Yes.
What drew you to, I mean, I assume it's being from West Virginia, but what drew you to this idea of small market investing versus going to larger cities, maybe even like a Charleston?
Yeah, definitely. That's good too. So small markets to me, I grew up in a small market. I understand relationships. And I found that a lot of these, when you learn about wholesaling, it's usually tailored to the bigger markets, and how to do all these $1 million deals, and how to scale quickly, and that stuff's kind of opposite here. So I found that there wasn't a lot of, first of all, there's not a lot of buyers. So that's an opportunity for someone like me, that there's not a lot of buyers. If I can, I thought to myself, if I can learn how to wholesale, then I can understand what a deal is and become the buyer, I'm set. Travis can be the authority in the marketplace here. And, as long as there's enough people in your small market, if you're in a people of 500 people, a market of 500 people, yeah, you probably need to go to somewhere larger. But if you're, I'd say between 50,000 people to 250,000 people, 300,000 people, you have a pretty good market where you can stay consistent, you know? So that's kind of the small market thing for me, is this just where I'm at. And even when I've done deals virtually, I've noticed when I go back and look, they were all in smaller markets like Akron, Ohio, Macon, Georgia. So I figured that's me and I need to lean into that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Use that relationship strategy, right?
That's what it is. Local leverage is what I call it, man. Like, it's not, realtors, USPS workers, police officers, emergency workers. Like, all of these people are in the community, barbershop people. David always says that a hairdresser is the best lead source in a small market.
Yeah,
'Cause they know
100%.
everything. They know
Yeah,
every gossip. They know whose house is being sold, who's divorcing, right? So, yeah, local leverage.
that's great. That's great. Why do you think a lot of investors overlook the areas?
Not a lot of activity, not a lot of money here. The economy is not as good. It's a lot of management. You have to really know the market here, because it's kind of like, a place like Detroit that's street by street. We're holler by holler here. So, that's what it's a hollow, but we call them hollers. And, one area, like I went under contract on a house this morning. Well, I'm sending it out. And it's in an area where it's like this holler is long. And one part of this holler leads into a rich area. But the beginning part is a poor area. But if you're looking at the comps in this area, you're very confused, because you might compare this one to the one at the end and think it's
Right.
worth $200,000.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people go into these small markets not knowing that, and then they have one or two bad deals go wrong. They can't find a buyer, something happens, and they're like, I don't want to do that no more.
Right. Right. They're out.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to know what a deal looks like in a small market. Like for you, talk about maybe two of your most recent deals. I mean, maybe the one you're getting under contract this morning. What does that look like?
Okay, good question. So do you mean like all around? Do you mean like the houses, what they look like? Do you mean the situations?
Yeah, like what are you buying a house for? What's the
Okay.
profit look like? We were talking before we started here about the auction
Mhm.
idea. I think people would love to hear that.
Okay, cool. So house ranges here. So our median, so I cover 3 counties. Okay. 3 counties are about 250,000 people that I cover.
Wow.
Okay. So within these 3 counties, you're going to see values everywhere. I'd say the median price point for most people in most of these counties is around 200 to 250,000. Okay,
Okay.
it's went up. Now you have a place like Putnam County that's close to me. You're maybe looking at 350, 400. It's a little richer, but usually
Hmm.
we're dealing in the cheaper houses. So we might buy a house anywhere from a couple $1,000s all the way to $120,000. You know, we're not usually dealing, like, there's been once or twice where we might get something in a really good area under contract for like 230, and we'll assign it for like 245 or something like that. But that's very rare. And I don't want to buy those type of houses personally, because, who can afford them around here? The
Right.
chances of them setting are a little bit higher in those
Yeah.
areas. And I
Yeah.
want a quicker profit. But yeah, anywhere from a couple $1,000s to, 120,000 is what we're usually buying them for.
Okay. That's good. And are you flipping these houses? Or are you holding them, or combination?
Very rarely will I be involved in a flip. Most of my deals are actually JV deals, meaning that I'm joint venturing with other people. And like, for example, David, David, coach,
Yeah.
he's a good partner of mine. And what we do is we work leads together. He might run some ads. The ads come to me. We'll work out a deal where we're, splitting profits, whatever it might look like in the situation. But very rarely, I'm not doing a flip myself. So if I'm a part of a flip, it's because David's doing it, let's say.
Hmm.
Okay. And these days, we're only really cherry picking those. So I'd say in the last 12 months, there's probably been one or two that's been a flip. Everything else is pretty much wholesale, meaning that we clean it out, we buy it, we clean it out, no repairs needed. Then we put it on the market or we auction it, like we were talking about before the call.
That's awesome. Okay. Sweet. All right. Well, let's move on to sales and negotiation and closing. You talk a lot about closing with confidence. What's that mean to you?
Oh yeah. So man. You got good questions. Okay. So choosing and not chasing, guys.
Okay.
Okay. So we don't chase deals, we choose them. We figure out, is this the right fit for us? So confidence comes with repetition. It comes with all these conversations you're having, given those unconfident offers, uncomfortable conversations. It's awkward conversations every single day. That builds confidence. And when you go into a deal saying, I'm not going to chase this deal, I'm going to choose this deal, that's a whole nother outlook when it comes to the psychology of the transaction, in my opinion. Does that
Man,
answer
I
your
love that.
question?
Yeah, yeah, I love that because there's so many instances where you get to a situation where you get desperate for a deal, right? Or I had one last night actually. My business partner sent it to me, and he's like, "Man, I think we're gonna have to offer too low." I said, "Hey, yeah, I think we were gonna offer for some land 37.5, and I can't remember it was listed on the MLS, but our cap was 40K, right? And it's like, hey, let's not be so desperate for a deal that we're going to overpay, right? And
Yes.
I like that shift of, hey, choose your deals, don't chase them. That's
Yes,
good.
man. Yep. I wasn't always like that.
There's a lot that goes into that though, right? I mean, you deal flow, like you said, repetition, confidence, so on.
Yep.
That's good. Um, what do you think separates the average acquisition? You said you were on the phone. You're still on the phone. What's an average acquisitions person versus a great one?
Digging deeper is the difference. So somebody who understands people and conversations, they dig further. They, like, for example, hey, you don't want to accept my offer. That's fine. Just follow up with me when things change. Well, versus an experience, somebody who's really into this business for a while, they're gonna, okay, I understand you don't want to take the offer, that's fine, but instead of following up later, now that it's over, what are you gonna do next?
Hmm.
Why? What? How did you even come up with the decision that you didn't want to take my offer? Dig in deeper. It's not just, okay, what's the condition of the house? Okay, move on to the next question. I think that the beginner has a script that they go by. They have all these questions, they're new, so they're just trying to do question after question after question, and it becomes an interrogation, versus somebody who's experienced is smooth. It's just a
Yeah,
real conversation between two people, and we know how to guide it. So that's the difference to me, is you got to dig deeper with people. That's how you get deals. That's the difference between, I just cold called 1,000 people and I got no interest, and I just cold called 100 people